Hey, welcome back. It's so nice to see you again. Now, this is going to be another sweet little tutorial. I was looking at that code and there it's just inconveniently long for what it does. It's basically just one line that's actually useful, and everything else here is just ballast, I would say. So it's not really needed. And let's say this passage here, so getting the target, this is something I use in every plugin that I need, where I need to extract the target as an entity. Do I really need to copy and paste that every time I'm writing a new plugin? Extracting fields, why is it so terribly inconvenient? Well, let's take a look at how we might solve these two issues here. This part would fit perfectly in a helper class of some kind here. So one of the solutions would be to create a new file, name it helper, and just put get target in here. But we already have a helper class for that. It's called PluginBoilerplate. So in here we have, and this is your file. You can customize it any way you want. If you don't need any specific methods here, feel free to delete them. It won't hurt. So this is really here for you to extend it as you need it. So yeah, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do today. So I need this get target entity, get target often. So I'll just cut that out here and go back to PluginBoilerplate, and I'll just paste that under execute here. So public entity, because I'm returning a target as an entity, get target, and it'll get plugin execution context, and I will just paste the code that I wrote here. And I just need to do a couple of little tweaks. So if I cannot return the target, I'll just return null. And if I can get a target, then I'll just return it. So I'll just cut that part out and do return. So there's that. I can go back to my class and do var get target, and it appears right here. It's so convenient. And I can do if target, and Visual Studio is kind of misleading here. So if the target is null, then I can do just return. There's nothing to do for me here. Look at that. That's much more convenient, and it's so much easier to remember this part. So now the next time that I'm writing something, I can just copy this PluginBoilerplate and just reuse this get target method from here. Now let's see if we can do something about this part here. Now name target, this is kind of a constant, and there is actually a way to streamline this part as well. But more on that later. So let's focus on this second part. So checking if the attribute actually contains, if the attribute actually exists, and if it contains a value. Now, if you looked at PluginBoilerplate before, you might have noticed there is already a method for that, and it's called thisAttribute or default. It takes in three parameters. One is this entity, and this is perfect because we're just gonna put in the target, and then for attribute name we'll use this constant that I was referring to, and then we can also specify this default value, and in our case this will just be null. The code actually does exactly what our code down there does. So yeah, let's just use that, shall we? So let me just remove all that, and I'll do var name val equals attribute or default, and the kind of this attribute will be string. And now I can do target and name attribute, and the default value will be null. And same as above, I can do a little null check here. If name val is null, in this case I will just do return. There's nothing for me to do here either. If you ask me, this looks much cleaner. And it's so much easier to remember this part here. So you don't have to think, well, what all the stuff you need to check. You just use this method, you just use this get target, and it actually does the exact same thing. Now let's check if our tests pass, and 3 passed. So it looks like we kind of did our job here. We managed to shrink the code by just a little, but it makes a whole lot of difference when you're working on a larger plugins. So there you go. I hope that was useful. Make sure to subscribe, and see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.